Alright, we are into the most exciting part of the tutorials. By now, you would have had a really good understanding of how to use Notion because I've given you the guided and interactive Notion tutorials. You've also probably watched the dashboard tutorial and also the tutorial on the special pages. Once you're in this space, now we can really get to all of the exciting and the most actionable features within Life Game Design, and I'm so pumped to show you. So, there's just a few things that I need to cover at the start of the tutorial, and then we're just gonna hang out, and I'm just gonna be like, yo, we can do this and we can do that, and here's all the awesome things we can do, especially within the utility views. So let's get straight to it. We've got our dashboard over here, and we remember that to navigate all of our different views, we come down here to navigation, and we're gonna hit up the utility views. I'll go to the main page. You can also click this toggle once you get comfortable to reveal all of these, but let's just go into this page to start. And you're going to see a list of all the different views you have here. Let me zoom in for you. So you can either see it by this gallery here, or I think it'll be easier to look at it like this. So we've got capture, recently edited, vision board, planning, focus, achievements, and archives. Honestly, I think the vision board, planning, focus, and achievements are the key and the most exciting features that we're going to cover, but we'll do all of them linearly. So let's go straight to capture so we can learn about how to capture all of the information in our lives and just see the layout of all these different pages. So let me zoom out again for you so this looks normal. So remember, basically most of these pages are going to be quite identical, quite similar. So at the top, we're always going to have our navigation bar. Then we're going to have this menu right here, which shows us our favorites bar within the menu. It says there. We're going to have our favorites. We are also going to have this table of contents, which is going to show us, and if we click, we can see all of the different pages. They're actually made by this. You'll see if I enter some text here, you'll see it pop up here. So everything in purple is made up from the sections that are there. And if I click, then I can quickly go down to the section that I clicked on. And the difference between the purple part and the blue part is the blue ones are individual pages. So when I click on the purple ones, this is a whole page where I can just keep on scrolling down and scrolling down. But if I want to get rid of the clutter, then I can go to the dedicated page. If I press, this is the project capture section of this page, but if I go into project capture itself, it will only show me the project capture page and that's it. So I really advise this if you are a beginner and want to get rid of all the other clutter. That means you'll just have your navigation bar. You're going to be able to access everything within the utility views from this menu and your favorites, but it's hidden with this toggle, and you can easily go back to the capture page using this, or even go to the projects page. But these will be the most simplistic way to view all of these different features within the utility views. So let's go back to capture. And there's also going to be this sidebar here, which is going to show you everything within utility views. And you can also press the toggles to go to whatever you want specifically. Again, once you become more confident and you understand the layout of the database, this is when you'll use those toggles. But for now, you'll probably just be using this sidebar here. So that's about it for the boring stuff we have to cover. Let's dive in. So, quick capture page. The capture page in general is the easiest way to add new things to all of your databases. If you're not going to use the special pages, the OctaCore pages to add everything, then this is your next best thing. If you want to add things like new projects, tasks, and notes. So you can either do that from these buttons over here. Let me show you how that works. As soon as you click new project, it will come up with this, which is an entitled new project. Then you can select your template from here. Let's say we're doing a strength main project. And that's a really easy way to get a new project into your system, even to do with tasks and notes. So let's click out of here. I don't need to show you how the other ones work. It's the same thing. But what happens is that you can also scroll down here to see you've got the different areas of special, and you can instantly select the template you want by using this. One thing that I wanted to mention as well is that although you have these video tutorials, if you don't want to re-watch these in case you ever forget anything, remember that I've hidden the tutorials of what each of these things do within the toggle of the title here. So whenever you see the title of what database views we're looking at, if there is a toggle here, click that and you will see the tutorial. And this page will link you to the video that you're seeing right now. So it tells me about the overview of the capture page. I can click and see more information on that, and I can see each individual block or the views that we will see within here. I'll give you another example maybe when we go into another page, because the capture page is quite unique. So you can also add projects by clicking on the priority of what they are. And like I said, we can do the OctaCore distribution of what that project is. Another way to see everything is to select it by what date you've created it by. So this calendar here isn't the project date. This is the date that the project was created instead. So you can't drag and drop these dates. It won't mean anything to your planning. But this is really good if you remember that you made a project on a certain day, but you can't find it for some reason. This is a really good page to come to. Task capture is pretty much identical to projects, so there's not much to mention there. But note capture over here, you can apply the note or add the note based on the note type that it has. So remember, everything starts as an idea, and then we can either move that into a framework, a website, or media, which would be videos or audio. We can also choose the note type according to the OctaCore framework, and again, this has a calendar as well. All right, I wanted to skip over this section because it's very basic. One last thing, I guess, is the quick capture page. So this is a page I would save to your phone. Now, to save these pages directly to your phone, what you're going to do is open up Notion on your phone, or download the app of Notion on your phone. Once you download that, you're going to want to go to wherever you create widgets in your phone. And so wherever you create widgets on your phone, it will show you that you can add Notion pages as widgets. So if you go to create a new widget, you find the quick capture page and you put that as the widget you have on your home page in your phone. That will allow you to access this over here, which I can create and capture a new project, task, or note really easily and quickly scroll through these, because what will happen, it won't look like that. Basically, you'll see these individually. You'll see them under each other, so they won't be in a horizontal line like this. All right, that's pretty much it for capture. Let's go on to recently edited before we go on to the really exciting vision board. Recently edited, we can only spend like 2 minutes here. And now you'll recognize how similar this looks, at least the top part of this page, how similar this looks to where we were just at, the capture page. So with recently edited, most of the pages are going to look like this. Just have the menu here with 2 columns like this. So I've got my sidebar that I can use to also switch between these pages. And then again, like I said, I've got the purple menu and the blue menu. Remember, purple menu takes us to the scrolled part of where we want down the page, and then the blue menus take you to the individual pages where I can only see that thing. So recently edited is just about the 10 last things that you recently edited. It's really obvious. So if you ever lose something that you were just working with, come to the recently edited page and you will find it really easily. So that's for your notes, tasks, projects, and areas as well. that is pretty much it for this page. So let's get on to, oh my God, I almost deleted that. Let's get on to probably one of the coolest features of live game design, and that is an actionable vision board. So the thing that really pisses me off about traditional vision boards is that none of them are actionable. That's it. No vision board that people create traditionally, like putting pictures on a cork board or something like that, that is not actionable. If you don't know what a vision board is, I will show you. So a vision board kind of looks like this. It's just a bunch of pictures with all the stuff that you would like to have in your life or things that inspire you. But the problem with this is that, sure, you can put it on your wall and you can have it as things that you would like to do in your life or whatever. But it's not actionable. You can't actually take everything from there and place it and work it into an achievement. Whereas with Life Game Design's vision board, that is exactly what you can do, because the vision board is created from your projects. So this is just, let's review the status of vision boards. Remember all of these status options, I'll zoom in for you. Remember, with all of these status options, these are the status options of both projects and tasks. Our achievements come from the achieved. All the quote-unquote active projects come from awaiting, actioning, and focusing. And then our vision board, let's get rid of that. Our vision board comes from anything that is bucketed. All right, so anything that is bucketed is not seen in our active views like most other places in our workspace, like our dashboard. We won't see our bucketed projects in our dashboard. And that is because it's part of our vision board, and we want to just see these things when it's necessary, because it's great inspiration, but seeing that all the time as the goal that you should be trying to achieve isn't realistic, in the fact that an example is that I want to go see the aurora and I want to go visit another country. Those things cannot inspire me on a day-to-day basis at all. It's very unrealistic for those things to inspire me and to encourage me to move in the direction of the goals I want. And so what I really want to do is, like Alex Hormozy has famously been quoted for, is to build a stack of undeniable proof that I am the person that I say I am, instead of being delusional with things like affirmations. And so that's what the achievements page is for. But we also want to figure out a vision for what our lives will look like. So now you know that all of these are made from the bucketed status. Whenever you put any project in the bucketed status, you'll see it in this page. So there's 3 ways that we can really look on the vision board. And just remember that there is a guided text-based tutorial within the tutorial toggle of Envision projects. So if you ever forget what I'm telling you right now, don't worry about it. You can come here and figure out, what do all of these database tab views mean over here. Usually it will tell you, let's zoom in again. Scroll down to the thing. Okay. Usually what will happen is that you have 2 views that are similar. So this is the OctaCore view, and then you'll have the same set of emojis, but no name. And that means it's just a different way to view the same thing. If I zoom out, you'll get what I mean. So I can either see the OctaCore in a board like this, like this icon shows within the board view icon of the database tab, or you can see it in a gallery view. And instead of just writing OctaCore again, because it would really clutter up this system, I've just added the same emoji, so you know that it's a similar view, but with a different, it's a similar way of viewing the same page. So let's get rid of that, and let's see what this looks like. I'll go through, maybe I'll just show you on my own, because it's already filled out and it has so much more context to it. Basically, the OctaCore page of this, and let me zoom out just one more so you can see LifeForce as well. Just remember that if you ever want to do this zooming out and in, hold Control on your keyboard and use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in and zoom out. You can also hold Control and press the plus or minus buttons on your keyboard to do that. And why you would want to do that is because if you can't see all of these at once, then you want to zoom out a little bit. So it looks really, it's just got that really good aesthetic to be able to see all the different aspirations you have in every different area of your life. So let's go through it and I'll give you a quick reminder of the different areas of OctaCore. So we have strength, which is all the goals you would have in physical health. We have persistence, which is a big amalgamation of things like your lifestyle design and routines, where you live, what car you have, the possessions you have that are like quite miscellaneous. So for me, it's like these, let me show you. It's like this house plant that I have here. That would be included in persistence as an achievement. Like I bought a new plant for my place. And so, yeah, it's about all the possessions you have in your life and the environment that you live in. Experience is about everything that you do for leisure. So going to travel to a new country, watching something that inspires you, playing a new game, all those kind of things. Literally anything to do with leisure. For me at the moment, that's watching anime and surfing. And those are the two main things. Creativity, again, is such a wide and vast life bucket. Literally any outlet that you use to express your own creative interests. For me, that's making this app. It also includes things like side hustles. So whether you're into like music or art, or for my friend Lachlan, it's skateboarding for him. He calls it flow arts. Anything that you utilize your creative expression in. Remember that contribution is to do with work or charity or community. So literally your work life, contributions you make to your community, and also any charitable contributions that you make in general. Intelligence is anything to do with learning, finance, and planning. So for me, the aspirations I have are to write a book about life game design, to really dive deep and distill all of the ideas I have, especially within the OctaCore framework, and really solidify my understanding and help people understand how to design a fulfilling life using the philosophy and the framework. And I have a whole bunch of books that I would like to read in here as well. Attachment is any very close relationship. So you have the three pillars of your family, your extremely close circle friends, and romantic partners. And then you have the fourth, which would be like companion animals. But I would include that in family. And then finally you have LifeForce. Now LifeForce is going to be a one I know that is going to be tricky for a lot of people to understand, but basically it's your mental health and spirituality. So within mental health, it's about understanding who you are as a person, sticking to your values, and anything you do literally just for yourself. You know, things like reflecting on your year, doing these kind of things, having inner reflections. And in spirituality would be your connection to whatever higher power that you believe in. So that's LifeForce in a nutshell. So for an actual example for me in my bucket list or my vision board is getting a tattoo. Getting a tattoo based on what my chef's apprenticeship meant to me, and experiencing a psychedelic state of mind. Who knows what that will look like, but that is something I've always been interested in after hearing a lot of people go through it and get really good experiences from it. So this is the first way that you can do your vision board. We can also look at it in different ways, like I previously explained. So I can see it just in terms of strength, and I can close these toggles here just to make sure that if I just want to focus on one aspect, I can add pages to here like this. And remember, I have to select the page that it goes with, but Let's say I want to travel to a specific country like Japan, which I'm actually doing later in the year. I can change the cover really quickly. Let me change that to Japan. This is epic. Oh my god. Look at that. All right. And so now I've got a vision board dedicated just to the experiences that I want to have. You can also see just a list within that same categorization, so I can easily, adjust the properties here. And then this is really cool. We can also set a year to do this intention. So like I said, I had Japan previously. And so everything that doesn't have a date, we can see over here. And then we can use this to assign a date. So let's say I want to live in another country next year. So let me put in 2025. And then click that. And now we're going to see a new section. Oh, it's the same section. I'll make this 2026 so you see how a new section is created. As soon as you have a date within a new section, it will create itself. So let me click that. Boom. Okay, so here we go. Now we can do that in 2026. One really cool feature of this is that you can drag and drop between the different dates. Just remember that it will automatically put it to the first of whatever that year is. So let's see with this. This Kratos cosplay thing is March the 1st. If I drag it up to 2026, January 1st. So that's a really cool feature. All right. I'm trying not to sneeze, man. Okay. The next way that we can view our projects in the Envision projects or a bucket list is by the tier list. And I really recommend this because you're going to start off with a whole bunch of ideas that you have. Basically, the first step in thinking about your own life game design is thinking about what is the life that I want for myself. And within that, you're going to think, I've got all of these ideas of the things that I think will fulfill me. But honestly, you're going to discover that half of the things that you think are going to be transformative for you, you actually don't really care about. And you'll see that once you rank them. So I've got about 33 things in here that I thought were going to be things that would really fulfill me. Most of them are books, but other things I realized, like buying a sick car, my dream car of when I was a lot younger. I realized when I was ranking them that actually that wouldn't really be fulfilling to me. That wouldn't end up being a diamond achievement. And so this will tell you a lot about what you actually value, especially in all the different areas of life. So let's go back and check out. You can also make a tier list. I'll just mention, you can also make a tier list based on the date as well. So you can see what are going to be the most fulfilling things for you within each date. And you can tell that that's the case by looking at the icons in this. There's also, I'm going to switch back to your version because my version doesn't have this toggle tutorial. You can also come here to figure it out because it says over here that the diamond with the calendar means the tier list plus the year. Right. So that is the vision board. And basically, yeah, you would go through that 3-step process of either, you can choose how you want to do it. You can do it by the OctaCore, if you know exactly which areas of life you want to tackle and which you have aspirations for. You can also do it by the tier list, and what I recommend is that you just put everything in bronze, and then once you have this massive list of things, just be like, okay, I actually think the set up a creator house, I actually think that this would be a gold for me, or something like that. And just go through that list and see what happens. See where all of these things end up. And that will be a really good way for you to, understand a bit more about who you are and what you actually want to achieve in life. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Envision projects. There's one thing I needed to mention that I forgot in terms of the boring stuff. So I apologize for doing it now. But like I said, everything here ends up in the bucketed status, as we can see. So let me click into this project and just show you that what you need to do when you're in a project, you need to go into the second tab whenever you're making sub projects of this. So let's say you have a really grand vision about something. This is one I have in my personal LGD. So let me change it to, let me create a new one in here. This is actually a big aspiration I have. So let me make this a main project, and I'll call this Make Life Game Design a Complete App. So at the moment, Life Game Design is built within Notion, and I still call it an app because it has literally everything you need to organize your whole life. But I would want it in the future to be a complete, both a web app and a phone app and everything like that. Well, we're not at that stage yet. What you have to remember is when you're breaking up this massive aspiration you have into an actionable goal, you're going to want to break it up. And when you do that, you don't want to use the statuses here. You want to use the statuses where it says bucketed, because what will happen if I accidentally put this into awaiting, let me write this out. Let me say this would be find web developers for the app. All right. And so I put that into my awaiting category. No, wrong one. Let's go into there. Cool. So make Life Game Design a Complete App. I put that into my awaiting projects, which is wrong, and I'll show you why it's wrong. Because I've already got so many things in this section of awaiting, and I don't want all that stuff to show up here. And basically in all my other views as well. So if I go to projects and I see what is awaiting, I just have a bunch of stuff here. And awaiting, if you remember, is for everything that you're going to do this year. So you don't want all of these things to, all of the sub projects to clutter up what you're going to be doing this year. And that's exactly why we have 6 levels of status. So remember, whenever you make vision board projects, you're going to want to, let me switch to my own thing here. Quickly go to utility views and the vision board. So whenever you make projects that are in the bucketed status, make sure all of your sub projects are the same. So I'm going to use this to switch it. Make sure all of your sub projects are the same at bucketed, and the same with tasks. If you're really high level and you know exactly the tasks that you would need to do to get this done, and you want to put them in now, again, make sure they're in bucketed. Otherwise, they're going to show up all across your workspace, and that's going to be really distracting for your day-to-day life management. Cool, so that was it. I really encourage you to, set up this kind of vision board thing for yourself and really understand more about yourself based on the ranking and the OctaCore, and maybe even if you're a really high level user, you can set an intention for each year if you have the time, if you want to do that, which I think is like really awesome. All right, let's go on to the next most actionable thing, and that would be the planning page. So in the planning page, this is really cool because I give you a 4-step process to plan all of the projects that you have in your life, and it's the same with tasks. So I'll just go through the projects to show you what that looks like. Let me go on to your version. This is my Life Game Design, so I'm going to go to your version of planning. And I'll see here there's quite a lot of pages. That's because I put everything in one. So you have project planning, priorities, and time blocking. There is one more that's on a different page that we've already saw. It's on the hub views. So the first step, if you forget these steps, it's all in the tutorial over here. So you don't need to remember this or anything. just click this toggle and you will be sweet. But I want to go through this one-on-one with you right now. So our 4 steps to perfectly organize our projects are, we have our planning, which is our general brainstorming. I'll show you and describe all of those steps after I've gone over this overview. Then we set our priorities using the Eisenhower matrix that's built into our projects. We also then do our time blocking. So we actually figure out when we're going to do these projects. And then the 4th level is really a high level version of the time blocking where we see everything at the same time. You're going to understand more about that when we go through those steps. So let's do exactly that. Over here, we have our digital whiteboard. And this will give you prompts as to how you should think about the things in your life and what could possibly be a project. So we have the things that I can't ignore. I actually set up some stuff the other day, so I'll explain that these are already here. Setting up a bank account. That would be something that I cannot ignore. Having car insurance. That would be also something that I cannot ignore. Let me delete these examples. Things I would, or let's say social obligations. Social obligations would be like birthday parties, plans with friends, doing stuff with family, and then things I would love to do. So this is all about the personal stuff that you really want to do. So watching Vinland Saga, one of my favorite animes. Even watching Avatar, The Last Airbender. For me, it would be going for a surf and maybe climbing Mount Taranaki. The mountain where I live is called Mount Taranaki, and it's absolutely epic, and I still need to climb it. Gonna do that one day. Anyways, so we have all of these ideas of the things we want to do, and it's up to us whether we want to actually action them. So I definitely know I need to action the things I can't ignore. So what is really cool about this space is that I can drag and drop these into my projects here. And so I don't want to do it like this, because this will put the block inside this page. I want to make sure when I drag and drop, I see this this vertical blue line here. And when I let go, it will create it for me. So I can easily create the titles from that brainstorm and drag and drop them. I can also do it between the different statuses. So what do we pick up? Let's pick up plans with friends, and that would be actioning. I can put it in this actioning part over here. Doesn't matter where I put it, just make sure I have the blue line there. Cool, plans with friends. Let's say definitely watching Avatar The Last Airbender. Put that over here. So then we can go ahead and select the templates for these. This would be experience. Again, plans with friends is all experience. And then car insurance, that would be to do with persistence, because it's a possession that I have. Cool. So I've set all of those. Let's put in setting up a bank account as well. That is something that I definitely know I already need to be focusing on. And setting up a bank account to do with finance, planning, that is intelligence. So now that I have these, let's just pretend that I put all of them in there. And a really handy thing that you can do once you finish this is deleting this digital whiteboard, because I gave you buttons. So let's delete that. And I gave you buttons to start new whenever you feel like it. So you can either use the original one that I provided you and just move this button back up if you want when you're done. Or you can start with a blank canvas, so you can fill in what these categories would be yourself. So it's the same layout. Let me delete this. It's the same layout. It's just that you can write in all of the different categories that you want yourself. But again, for beginners, I would just stick with this original template that I provided you. Cool. So that's the first stage. And honestly, this would just take like less than 5 minutes just to brain dump all the things that you're thinking about. And then what you would want to do is go on to priorities. And this is so much faster. Basically, now we can see all of the focusing projects we have, and then set the priority to see, okay, they're all focusing, so it feels like I should do all of them at once. But once you really think about it and use the Eisenhower matrix to determine what is important or not, we will figure out how to tackle doing all of these things. So let's just say with this project, learning life game design is something that's chill for us. We don't have to rush to do it or anything. But definitely car insurance. If I am driving my car without car insurance, that is pretty bad. So I'm going to say that is both urgent and important, and I need to get this done first thing. Next would be setting up a bank account. I would probably say that is about the same. Or maybe I have the time, and it's not really urgent, but it is important. So I'll put it in here. Cool. So now we know exactly the order of which we should tackle all these different projects that we have. I can also do this for awaiting things. And let's say Avatar is something that's really important to me. I can put it here and just be like, yo, this is something I would really love to watch. That would really fulfill me. But mainly the priority here is really to look at the productive aspects of life. So that would be things like intelligence, persistence, and that sort of nature. Not to do with the experiential areas of life, like creativity or experience and things like that. So the next step, so this would take us again, it's probably only take you 2 minutes to figure out your priorities here. Next, we go on to time blocking. Now, this is probably going to take the most amount of time, but it will give you the most amount of reward, because you'll know exactly when you're going to do what you're going to do. This will take you about, honestly, I said the most amount of time, but again, probably just 5 minutes. So let's see what this would look like realistically. I can see that I already have a bunch of stuff in my calendar that I already have to be conscious about when I put new things in. So I can see over here on the left-hand side, maybe I need to zoom in for you. I can already see on the left-hand side over here the things that I have that are focusing, actioning, and awaiting. So what I would do is start with time blocking everything that is focusing. Or, like we did before, I can do it by priority. So I can switch to this view and see, okay, what's urgent and important? We need to time block that right now. So getting insurance, I have nothing on my calendar today. Let's say I'm going to sort that out today. And maybe I'm going to do setting up my bank account. And I could also come to my calendar and be like, okay, these things actually don't matter as much as these urgent things, because I can see by the priority here, it says chill. So let's move these and be like, okay, I just need to spend this whole day, these 2 whole days doing these 2 things. And that is the most important thing. And maybe when I've done that, I can watch something fun, like over here. That was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Cool. So that is how I would do it. And let's just clear the date so you can see how I would do it from that other tab. So these are going to disappear from the calendar by me clearing the date. So from this focusing tab, I would do the same thing, just drag it and drop it into here. Now, the only problem with this specific page for planning your week or your month is that it will not show you or allow you to time block your sub projects. That is where you get onto the next level of planning, which is using the timeline to do that, because it's far easier to use the timeline to plan these things out. So let's go into our hub views where our timeline is. And honestly, this would only be necessary if you have a lot of projects that you have on your plate that are sub-projects as well. I think for most people, those 3 steps that we just went through would be enough. But let's say you have a whole bunch of things. I think I showed you how to use the timeline quite in depth in the hub views tutorial, so I won't kind of bore you with that stuff again. But I'll show you how this is the next level of time blocking, because now I can see all of these things in the same space. So I can see my car insurance, I can see setting up my bank account, I can see what I've got for learning life game design. So I can really plan out and understand all the things I've got going on in my life and make sure I'm not overlapping, because if I really had to focus on, let's say, even car insurance and setting up my bank account in the same day, I probably won't have time to do the Notion tutorials that I'm looking at. So I'd have to be like, you know what, let's do this on the weekend. Let's save that for the weekend and put that in there. So that's how I would do it. And instead of making new sub projects for this main project over here, instead of doing it in here and then clicking in here and then finding the template, blah, 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 that would be really slow. What I would do, let me just delete this. What I would do is come into here, list out all of the sub projects you have, just enter them in like this, and then you'll see them populate over here. So let's just do that again. Let's put that in, let's put that in. And now you see them appear here. And then I can use them to set the date really easily. So I can just click that to set this date and click that to set this date. And then it gives me this really nice linear progression. So like I said, that's how I would do it. And yeah. That is the last level of the time blocking. And so, man, I know we've gone on 40 minutes already, but there are still some more exciting things to do, because let's go back to the utility views. So we'll go. So now we've done planning. What is really cool is the focus section. So this really helps you understand what are the things I really need to focus on in my life, and you can do that with areas, and you can also do that with OctaCore. Basically, you can use the status over here to set that intention for yourself. So these first few pages will show you the OctaCore areas and the main areas you are focusing on. I like this one a bit better because it shows you the main areas you have within which OctaCore section. So let's say I'm focusing on a few different areas within intelligence. They will all show here. So I can go here and set the status of the different OctaCore areas using this button here. So I can set strength to focus as well, and then I'll see it over here. And that just tells me all the other areas in my life, and because there is a lot, it is overwhelming. That means that you have to select up to 3, I recommend. Select up to 3 areas that you're really going to focus and make improvements on. And just set everything else at maintenance. Put everything else on the back burner. And just give yourself the permission to be like, you know what? For this season of my life, I'm not going to work on all these other things. I'm just going to put all my time, effort, and energy into getting the most out of these areas of life as I can. And that will allow you to, one, kind of like forgive yourself for not being able to do everything at once. But 2, you'll also make so much more progress with whatever you choose to do within these areas compared to trying to fix everything at once. You'll basically be spinning at the wheels if you try and do that. So project focus is quite the same. Using that focus status from the projects we have, we can see everything that's in focus. So again, you can just be like, I need to do this. Let's clear out all the clutter. Because alternatively, what you'd be looking at is this mess over here, which is all the stuff you have in your life. And again, that's overwhelming. Even though we need this here, we need to see everything we have in our life. We need to be able to separate those things as well. So that's what this page is for. You can see just the projects you're focusing on and get to completing them as fast as possible. You can have the same view, but seeing main and sub projects. So you saw that this life game design, Learn Life Game Design, had a bunch of sub-projects within it. But over here, you can see them separated from one another. Let me delete those. Actually. Cool. Alright, so it's the same with task focus. You can see your tasks in a gallery like this, or you can see them in a list like this. You can also see, this is actually really cool, you can see the tasks that are from the projects that are focusing. Okay, so none of these projects have tasks, which is why you don't see anything here. But let's see what happens when we add a task to this. So let's say getting car insurance. It would be like calling the insurance companies. All right. Cool, so it's in focusing. Let's see where it's at. We gotta set that to focusing. All right, and now we can see that all of this stuff here is going to show us all the tasks we have within this focus project. Now let me show you another example of what that would be. So setting up a bank account, be like add a task, which would be find find a bank. So finding a bank, and now that opens up here. And what the really cool thing about this is that we can use this space to add new stuff, new tasks here, and even put them in achieved. So again, whenever you come to this focus page, you can be like, okay, what are the projects that I'm focusing on, and then what are the tasks that I need to get done to achieve them. We can also set just have a page to see all the notes that are in focus here. So this will only show you notes in focus, as you can see by this drop down toggle. You can also see the links that are just in focus. And again, you can see the projects to do. So any project that is in focus, if it has a note, the notes will show here. So again, let me show you what that looks like. So basically, within car insurance, let's say I took some notes on the different companies, so different car insurance companies. Oh no, I did. There we go. All right, it's here. Cool. So we've got that. And let me just check the filters. Okay, so I need to change that. Project status roll up. Here we go. All right. That should work first time for you. That was just a little bug in the thing. Remember, this is the alpha test of Life Game Design. So you may run into bugs like this. And if you do find them, please let me know in our community so I can fix them for you and everyone else. So let me set that up properly. So this should be focusing. Okay, cool. So this will only show me the projects that are in focus, that have notes. So there are a few other projects that I have that are in focus, but they don't have notes. So as soon as I add a note, then I'll be able to see it in that section there. So let me add a note here, which was the banking thing, bank notes. I'll just write it. Okay, that is what it should look like when it works well. So yeah, as soon as that's really the power of this focus page, because you can see the areas you have in focus, the projects, all the tasks to do with those projects, and the notes you have. So this is really your power workspace to get all the things that you want to do done, that you should be focusing on in your life. So that is the main tour of the focus page. Second to last page is again probably my favorite in this whole app, which is the achievements page. And there's so many different ways that we can view our achievements, which I think is the most important thing. If you ever use anything to manage your life, you should be proud of all the things that you're getting done on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, month-to-month, and year-to-year, so on. So let's see what that looks like. In this template over here, you're not going to see much, but let me just show you the examples that we have that we can view our achievements in. So you can either see it by an OctaCore board. Again, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see all of these different areas populated. You can either see a tier list and the OctaCore So on this axis, you can see the tier list and you can drop them down. And on this axis, you have the OctaCore board. You can also see your achievements by the year, and you can see a gallery. You know what? Let's just go to my page because it just needs data for it to make sense. So go to my achievements page, and this will be identical to yours, or at least very similar. So over here, I have the OctaCore categories of my achievements, and I also have which tier list category they're in. So these are all my diamond, gold, silver, and bronze achievements for the year. So this gets really cool because I can also just come to the simplified view where it's just pictures, and I can see what are the most fulfilling memories I've had in every single year of my life in every single area of my life, and just appreciate this stuff, man. And there's different ways we can view that too. So we can do it in a gallery view like this to just see the things that fulfill me in terms of experience. You can just see the things that fulfilled me in terms of strength, etc. And again, I can see an OctaCore breakdown of the year. So I can see what my year looked like in each OctaCore area in a list like this. So this was 2023 for me. If I go to 2023, I can be like, wow, look at all this stuff that I did. And it will encourage me to do more, like it has, literally. And then I can also see a basic tier list like this. Cool. To see more detailed views of the tier list, I would scroll down to the achievements tier list over here. And you'll notice that there are only 2 purple views because that's those 2 tabs. Just see if that's the same. Yeah, there's only 2 of these purple views and so many of these blue ones, and I recommend you to go in here, especially for the diamond achievements, because let's see what it looks like within my own life game design for diamond achievements. Basically, I can see everything to do with diamond in different ways. So I can see the most recent diamond achievements I've had in chronological order, in I guess reverse chronological order. I can also see just the picture gallery of all these things. I can see it by the year as well. So this will be a true chronological order by the year, because this is January. You'll see that this is January, and then the end, it's December over here. Cool, and I can also see a picture view, stuff like that. I even added a OctaCore view, so I can just see the diamond achievements within each area of life. And again, yeah, you've just got all these views to look at the different achievements you made. Basically, what I would do if I were you and you don't have any achievements, your page looks like this, is I would either go to the tier list to do this thing. If OctaCore at the moment is a bit overwhelming for you and you aren't really sure how these categories fit within each other, start with the tier list, put everything in bronze, and then move them up in terms of how fulfilling they were to you. And then you can start to use the OctaCore framework after you've learned more about it to understand what actually counts. And remember that you can always swap them around, and it doesn't really matter. You can always use the template that says a certain OctaCore area. So for example, if I make a persistence template because I thought this achievement was to do with persistence, I can always just swap it to experience if I got it wrong. And if I really cared about it, then I could come in here and change the icon. But I think for most people, if you get it wrong, just switch it like this, and honestly, it's no problem. Cool. So yeah, that was the achievements, and I will finish this up before it hits the hour, just to save your time. But again, like, I feel these are the most exciting views, and pretty much everything that we've done here, the vision board, the planning, the focus, the achievements, are a whole like self-development exercise within themselves. So every time you do one of these things, put it in as an achievement for yourself. Cool. And the last thing to wrap up on is the archives. And honestly, it's just really simple. You have the area, project, task, and note archives, and it will just show you all the stuff that's here in a very minimal view. Again, everything is labeled red because you don't want to make archives necessarily. You can if you want, but it's kind of weird that you would come here to make things that are archived. Usually the way that this would happen is that, let's say, you have a project in here that you don't want to show up within this achievements board. Maybe it's like something that is either sensitive information that, or it's just something you don't want to celebrate or whatever. Yeah, so let's say you had like healing from some like infection or something. And it's not something you want to celebrate as an achievement. So what you do is just put it into archived, and it won't show here. It won't show in any of your achievement views, and it will only be available to see in the archives. So while maybe it was really important that you had some sub-projects, tasks, and notes. Ooh, let's get rid of that. Maybe it's important that you had some sub-projects, tasks, and notes that you had to take care of within this project. So you wanted to use and put it into projects, but once you achieved it, it's not something you want to celebrate or like show anyone when you show them your own life game design. So that's what this is for, basically. And that wraps it up for the utility views. I think this will be the longest tutorial, just because of the nature of all the amazing things that we can do with this view, like our vision board, planning, focus, and achievements especially. So yeah, I hope you give yourself the chance to break this up for yourself. I will have chapters where you can quickly skip to the different sections. And remember, if you ever get lost with what you're supposed to do in each of these pages, you have the tutorial toggles here that will guide you step by step through this process. And I think that's all I wanted to wrap up with, and I'm glad that I didn't make it last the whole hour for you. So either you got really excited about all the stuff you're going to do with this information, or I just gave you a really long tutorial. But I think with all the stuff that's in here, with how excited I've been to share it with you, I think you will get the most out of these pages. So please use them, and please, on our community, share how you're using them. Share your vision board, share your planning, share your focus areas and your achievements, all of those things. I would love to see how other people are using this, and I'm going to share how I use it so you guys can get an idea of how you could possibly use it. That's enough from me. Thank you so much for joining me on this tutorial of the pre-release version of Life Game Design.